Welcome to today's market report. European stock markets are seeing opening higher on Monday, helped by a hope of a COVID-19 vaccine this year and renewed talk of a fresh US stimulus package. Although Chinese growth data may weigh, DAX futures traded this morning 0.6% higher at 12,900. CAC 40 climbed 0.4% at 4,900. FTSE 100 rose 0.5% at 5,900. Earlier Monday, China reported that its gross domestic product grew 4.9% in July-September from a year earlier, slower than the median forecast of 5.2%. That said, separate monthly indicators still pointed to an expansion in activity in the world's second largest economy, with industrial output climbing 6.9% in September from a year earlier and retail sales rising 3.3% last month from a year. The market is a bit upset by the 4.9% year-on-year growth, as the consensus has been 5% or more, but the market should recover these losses when it has time to digest the substance of the GDP report instead of just reacting to the headlines. European markets have been lifted by comments from US House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who said on Sunday she was optimistic legislation on a wide-ranging coronavirus relief package could be pushed through before the election. A deal will have to be done very quickly, though, with Pelosi setting on a Tuesday deadline for Congress to pass the measures. European Central Bank President Christine Lagarde continued the theme, telling a French newspaper that Europe must distribute its €750 billion recovery fund for the pandemic-hit economy promptly and should debate creating a permanent fiscal tool for the bloc. Also boosting sentiment was Friday's news from drug maker Pfizer that it could have a coronavirus vaccine ready in the United States by the end of this year. The need for a vaccine is readily apparent, with the global total of coronavirus cases rapidly approaching 40 million. Europe currently accounts for over 17% of the global cases and nearly 22% of the deaths. New cases are growing at over 150,000 a day, with many countries reporting record daily increases in the number of coronavirus infections. In corporate news, Koninklijke Philips will be in focus after the Dutch medical technology company said on Monday that the third quarter net profit exceeded expectations and offered up positive guidance. Also, French food group Danone restored its guidance for the full year while laying out a reorganization of its structure. Oil prices edged lower on Monday on the back of the Chinese GDP news, which depressed hopes for fuel demand. US crude futures traded 0.1% lower at $41.08 a barrel. Brent fell 0.1% to $42.88 a barrel. Gold futures rose 0.3% to $1,912.85 per ounce. On the FX front, GBP USD still faces important resistance at 130.50, albeit the bulls remain hopeful of some positive developments from a fresh round of Brexit negotiations likely to be held between EU's chief negotiator Michel Barnier and his British counterpart David Frost. From a near-term technical perspective, the spot has confirmed a descending triangle breakout on the hourly chart, opening doors for a rally towards 131. The UK Housing Secretary Robert Jarrick said that the EU needs to show flexibility on Brexit. Unless the EU comes back to us with flexibility, we will leave without a deal. We don't want a no deal, but we have to move forward. GBP USD is currently trading at 129.80. A sustained move above the barrier is needed to make another attempt towards the 130 level, a break above which the October 14th high at 130.64 will be put to test. Alternatively, strong support at 129.25 will restrict immediate pullbacks. That level is the conference of the 21 and 50 HMAs. Acceptance below the latter would bring the descending trend line resistance turned support at 129.13 back in play. Euro-dollar is trading around 117 at the bottom of the recent range. The steep increase in coronavirus cases in Europe is likely to keep undermining the euro, while speculative interest fears an even slower economic comeback as restrictive measures returned. There are high chances that the ongoing risk-averse scenario extends this week as the issues continue to escalate. U.S. Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi have had different talks these days, but were still unable to agree. They are quite close, but Pelosi noted that testing is one of the main issues remaining in talks. The dollar index was up 0.1% at 93.872. This is today's market news. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.